How do I remove malware from Windows? Hi everyone, Leo Notenboom here for askleo.com. One question that shows up fairly frequently at askleo, of course, is how to remove malware. The scenarios differ, but the problem is the same. The machine has been infected with spyware, a virus, ransomware, or some other form of malware, and that machine's owner is having a tough time getting rid of it. Often anti-malware software has been installed that should have taken care of it, but it didn't. Now, hopefully that will never be you, but let's review the steps that I recommend for removing malware and reducing the chances it'll happen again. I want to leave you with a very, very strong message here. It's the one thing that I would have you take away from this article, because you'll see things will get a little messy. Prevention is less painful than the cure. The steps to remove malware can be painful and time-consuming, and you run the real risk of losing data. Knowing how to stay safe on the internet is much, much easier in comparison. So let's look at what to do when prevention has failed. My strong recommendation is actually to start by taking a complete image backup of your system. Why would you want to do that if you've got malware? A backup taken right now is it can't get any worse than this fallback. Some of the techniques we use to remove malware run the risk of breaking things and making the situation even worse. With this backup at the ready, you can always restore and start over with nothing lost. It'll also allow you to carefully restore data after some of our more drastic recovery steps. If you've been taking regular backups, which I hope you do by now, this is absolutely the most expedient and can save you a lot of time and energy. Restoring your machine completely from the most recent full system backup, plus any incremental backups taken before the infection occurred. Except for learning from the experience, once you've done that, you're done. Unfortunately, most people don't have this option available. Most people don't begin backing up until after they've experienced data loss or severe malware infection. One of the lessons they've learned is that a recent backup can save you from almost any problem, including malware. Update your anti-malware database. If you've got anti-malware software installed, which again, I hope you do, make sure that it's up to date. This includes more than just the software itself. It's the database of malware definitions that matters here. Almost all anti-malware tools use some kind of a database of malware definitions for what to look for. They change daily, if not more often. As a result, they have to be updated regularly. If you're using the built-in Windows security program, well, the database gets updated along with Windows Update. Most programs do this automatically. But if for some reason they don't, the program will not know about the most recent forms of malware. Make sure your database is up to date so that it recognizes the latest threats. Now, anti-malware tools will regularly perform a quick or a fast scan. That's typically sufficient for what I'll call day-to-day operations. Today is not that day. Fire up your anti-malware tool and run a full/advanced/complete scan, whatever terms they use, of your entire system drive. If you've got a single tool, it might be the one to run. If you use multiple tools, then run a similar full scan with each. This may take some time, but let the tools do their job. This also applies if your anti-malware automated scans have stopped working for some reason, that reason often being malware itself. If this full scan discovers something, it might be worth checking to make sure that the security software is properly configured to still scan automatically. No anti-malware tool catches all malware. I want to say that again. There is no single tool that can catch every single piece of malware that's out there. None. Some may catch more than others, but none of them catch everything. So, using an additional reputable tool is often a very reasonable approach. I recommend the free version of Malwarebytes as the first additional tool to use. It has a reputation for removing some nasties that other tools apparently miss. Once again, run a full scan. Regardless of which tool you select, stick with reputable tools. When a machine is infected, some people tend to panic and download just about anything claiming to be an anti-malware tool. Don't do that. There are many less than reputable individuals out there ready to take advantage of your panic. Do some research before downloading anything, or you might make the problem worse instead of better. If your anti-malware software tells you the name of the specific malware that you're dealing with, that's good information even if it can't remove it. Search for that malware by name and you may find specific removal instructions at one or more of the major anti-malware vendor sites. These instructions can be somewhat technical and intimidating, so take your time to follow them precisely or get a techie friend to help. Those instructions often come with offers to remove the malware for a price, as long as it's an option. In other words, the manual removal instructions are also provided, then it might be a viable alternative if the company is one that you trust. On the other hand, if all you're presented with is a promise and a price, move on. Some sites do offer free tools you can download to remove specific malware. Once again, use caution. When the tools are from reputable sources, they can be a quick way to avoid some hassle. When the tools are really just more malware in disguise, again, they'll only make your problems worse. If you download anything to help address this problem, make certain that it comes from an organization you know and trust. Sadly, there is only one surefire, 100% guaranteed way to remove any virus. In fact, it's really the only way to know that you've removed a virus. Once infected, shy of restoring a backup image from prior to the infection, none of the steps I've talked about are guaranteed to remove malware, even if they report that your machine is clean. Once infected, all bets are off. An infection can indeed fool anti-malware software into thinking that everything is fine, even when it's not. There's just no way to know. The only way to be absolutely 100% positive that you've removed a virus is A, back up if you haven't already. Back up the entire system. You'll use this to restore your data after we're done. B, reformat. Reformatting erases the entire hard disk of everything. The operating system, your programs, your data, and most important of all malware. This actually may be part of the next step, as Windows Setup often offers to reformat the hard drive before reinstalling. Reinstall. Yep. Reinstall everything from scratch. Reinstall the operating system from your original installation media or download. Reinstall your applications from their original media or downloads saved elsewhere. D, update. Update everything. Make sure to bring Windows completely up to date for the most current protection against all known and patched vulnerabilities. Applications, particularly your anti-malware tools, should be updated as well. Finally, restore. Restore your data by carefully copying it from the backups you created when we started. By carefully, I mean take care to copy only the data that you need so as not to copy back the malware. There's no guarantee that you won't copy the malware back, so copy only what's absolutely necessary and make sure your anti-malware tools continue to run and are up to date. Take stock of how all this happened and what you might have done to get infected in the first place, and what might have helped you recover more efficiently. Schedule that frequent system backup. By now, I hope you can see why prevention is so much less painful than the cure. Taking a few extra steps to keep things up to date, avoiding those cute virus-laden downloads and attachments, and learning how to stay safe is much easier than the recovery process I just outlined. And having backups can make the recovery process as close to painless as possible if you do get infected. It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to learn how to stay safe when you use your computer. In an ideal world, we'd never have to worry about malware or bad guys fooling us into doing things we shouldn't. But you already know that this isn't an ideal world. Software isn't perfect and never will be, and there will always be someone out there to scam the vulnerable. Even though it's not your fault, you do need to get educated and take the steps to stay safe. Right or wrong, it's just the practical reality. For updates, for comments, for links related to this article, and more, visit askleo.com/3811. I'm Leo Notenboom, and this is askleo.com. Thanks for watching.